Howdy y'all, it's Joe here once again, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how to climb a little bit easier when playing competitive or when playing ranked or anything like that in Overwatch, and this will apply especially to Season 2 when that season does come out. So yeah, what is my main tip though? What is this first tip that I want to go over? Well, the tip is that you should probably start to pick up a main, and have someone that you mainly play. Now, by a main, I mean a character that you play for the majority of your time. You get very good at this character, you can learn all the ganking routes with this character, you can learn exactly how much damage you do, you can learn what characters you counter, what characters you don't from the enemy point of view, and yeah, you just want a main that you can learn the ins and out of. Now, the reason why you do want a main, and why you shouldn't just be a jack-of-all-trades person that plays everyone, is the simple fact that if you know one character, or if you know 2 to 3 characters, which is what you should probably do in Overwatch, if you have 2 to 3 mains, then you'll be a lot better with those characters, and you'll probably be able to carry a lot more with those certain characters than if you were to be a player that just happens to play every single different character in the game. Now, what is the reason for this? Well, I'd say the first reason really just comes down to time. When you're playing the game and you decide to play all 22 or whatever characters, obviously you aren't going to be as good as if you play, let's just say, only Mercy, Reinhardt, and of course Soldier 76. Those 3, spending 100 hours on those 3 compared to spending 100 hours on all 22, there's a really big difference in skill level, and you can quite easily see it on the enemy team. And of course, this applies even more to if you played 100 hours as just Mercy. Now, as you can see, this is a pretty easy thing to understand. You will have a lot more time on those characters that you want to be good at, and in solo queue in general, you really only need to know about 3 to 4 characters, I'd say, in order to fill pretty much every team comp, and especially if you have your own team, you only really have to know 1 to 2 characters, and if you know them well, you can carry quite well. You can carry a lot easier when you have a few characters that you're very good at. Now, the thing that's different from Overwatch compared to other games is that in most other games, be it Smash Brothers, be it Pokken Tournament, be it League of Legends, I would recommend that you probably only play one exact hero, one exact champion, one exact player, one exact whatever you're doing. But in Overwatch, it is a little bit different. Let's say in a Hanzo main, which I am, I like to call myself that. I'm a player that likes to play a lot of Hanzo. I want to get a lot of hours of Hanzo and become good at him. Well, if I decide to play Hanzo every single game in ranked, I'm probably really not going to be doing all too great all the time, to be honest. Some team compositions just really counter Hanzo. Sometimes Hanzo just really isn't great for your own team composition. Maybe you already have a lot of defense heroes, maybe you already have a lot of damaging heroes, maybe you need a support, maybe you need a tank, and in all these situations, having one main really isn't the best thing. But if you do what I was saying earlier and decide to have maybe 2 to 3 mains, this can completely fix that problem. When you have 2 to 3 mains, let's say you have a support, a tank, and a damage dealer. That is what I would definitely recommend. Support, tank, and damage dealer. So yeah, if you have these 3 different mains, you can fill the majority of roles the majority of time. Let's say that maybe Hanzo isn't really the best comp right now, and you're someone that plays a lot of D.Va, you could switch to D.Va. Or you could decide, maybe we need a support right now, another support. You could switch to your very good Mercy or your very good Lucio or whatever it is. And this does apply over and over again in a lot of different situations. If you have just about 3 characters, you can do really well for the majority of the time. And what you will probably be saying to yourself is, but I won't be able to play as many characters. I won't be able to have as fluid of a composition of my team compared to if I could play, more characters, like 5 or 6 or 7 characters. Well, now, while that is true, and I will say that is definitely true, the thing is, if you try to play 5 to 6, maybe even 7, maybe even 10 characters, it'll take a long time to get good at all those characters. You definitely could become good at all the characters. But the thing is, most people don't want to have to put as much time as it takes to become good at 10 characters as 3. And as well with that, learning 10 different characters really can just be kind of difficult. And when you're finishing learning one, you may just kind of somewhat forget learning the other ones. But mostly it's just the time restraint. A lot of times, people just can't learn every character. If you had infinite time, you could of course learn every character in the game perfectly. But as it is right now, I'd say if you're the average person, learning about 3 characters is probably what the best course of action is for the majority of people. Now, a big reason why I'd say this also is that when you learn about 3 characters, you can learn really the ins and outs of these characters. You won't just learn the basics that you really see in all these guides, like you should shoot around the corner with an Hanzo shift, and you'll be able to see the enemies. That's like a really basic thing that you could learn. But when you play the character for a long time, you can learn exactly when to go in. You can learn when maybe you could 1v1 this Tracer, maybe when you couldn't 1v1 this Tracer. You could also learn exactly the distance that you have to fight against a Reaper player. As well with that, you could learn maybe the exact distance when you have to fight against a Soldier 76. And maybe when you should fight a soldier, be it having your E up or having your E not up. So yeah, a lot of those different situations you won't be able to find in a guide. And it does take a lot of time, a lot of experience to be able to get through every single situation with your character, be able to learn your character very well, and be able to play them at a very high level. And the thing is, trying to play every character at once, you probably won't be able to get to that level very quickly, so you won't really be able to climb that quickly. Now, as well with all of this, I'm not saying that you necessarily have to choose a main. It is against your choice to not choose a main. If you enjoy playing every character in the game, you think it's fun, and you're playing Overwatch completely for fun, I'd say do whatever you want. Pick whatever characters you want. But if you do want a slightly higher chance of doing better in the next competitive season, picking, 3, maybe even 4 mains could be a good decision for you, especially if you decide to put in a lot of time with these people in quick play and of course a lot of time with these people in ranked play. It'll just make you a lot better at the game, and of course you'll just be able to learn every situation, and as well with that you'll be able to learn where your characters can actually go as far as mobility, and be able to use their mobility a lot better than the average player if you do of course learn your character really well. And of course, as a benefit with all of this, it will really just let you know when you can go in as your character, how much damage your character actually does, and it'll let you be a little bit more aggressive or a little bit more defensive on whatever situation that really occurs. Now, as for an example for what I was just saying, let's say that you're a player that plays every single character in the game, and you just decide to pick Tracer, and you see an enemy at, like half health. You could maybe think that you have to go in right there, or maybe think that you don't have to go in. You really haven't had enough experience to tell if right now is the perfect situation or not. But let's say that you have about 60-70 hours at least on Tracer. Well, if you see a Mercy in the backline with half health, you will probably be, first off, more confident and be confident enough to take out that Tracer. And second off, you could know maybe it's not a good idea to take out that Mercy while the Reinhardt's around. Or on the other hand, maybe you'll just know the map layout really well so that you could flank around the Mercy, take her out, and there's not much you can do about it. In essence, what I'm just saying is that if you have a lot more knowledge and a lot more experience with your character, you're obviously going to do a lot better. That's really not a hard thing to really think about. And of course, picking fewer characters does decrease the amount of time that it takes to learn more stuff about these characters. And I'd say also that a really nice benefit from all of this is that if you decide to main, 3 or 4 characters and you get really good at these characters, you will improve at the game as a whole. Your aim will improve a lot quicker than if you played everyone. Your game knowledge will improve, knowing where to be and where not to be will improve. And this will actually make you better at everyone else in the cast, as well as having your mains that can carry you for the majority of your solo queue games. You can see this a lot from a lot of these streamers. You see some streamers that, really only play, Reaper, really only play a lot of Genji, or play a lot of Soldier. For the majority of the time, they play these characters, but for some reason, they're just so good as everyone else. Well, I'd say it's just because once you get really good at knowing those game mechanics, you can do well as the majority of characters. And, playing a few characters can really help you learn those mechanics a lot faster. And that's about it I've got to say about the benefits of having a main. Now, of course, as always, if you don't want to have a main, completely up to you. If you think maybe this guy is thinking way off the mark, he's not thinking the right stuff at all, that's up to you. That's your choice, of course. And if you're having a lot more success playing, every character in the game, or, 10 characters, you do you. Do whatever really does the best for you. This is simply what's helped me the most, and what I've seen help a lot of streamers, and a lot of people in competitive games in the past. But yeah, that's about all I have to say. Now, in the future, pretty soon, I do want to make a video about how to pick a few mains, how to pick a roster list, and stuff like that. So make sure to tell me if you want to see that in the future. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, of course, as always, leave a like, and tell me either who you main in the comment section below, how you found your main, or if you think that having a few mains is a good idea, or if you should, play a lot of characters. I really want to know you guys' differences in opinion. Of course, I'm not the #1 best opinion in the world. All I have is my own knowledge from the past. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and of course, as always, have a wonderful day.